Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Kopidana Ballabha Grivaradari Jaya Grivaradari Kopidana Ballabha Grivaradari Jaya Grivaradari Yasodanandana Raja Janaranjana Jaya Raja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Raja Janaranjana Jaya Raja Janaranjana Yamunadiravarachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamunadiravarachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Kopidana Ballabha Grivaradari Jaya Grivaradari Kopidana Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari. Yasodanandana Raja Janaranjana Jaya Raja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Raja Janaranjana Jaya Raja Janaranjana. Yamuna Dhiravarachari Jaya Kunja Vihari. Yamuna Dhiravarachari Jaya Kunja Vihari. Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Bharavatakacharya Asadhara Situ Shri Shriman His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Haribol Slava Zabrani Bhakta Slava Shri Gurui Shri Gurangi Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Te Namane Namaste Saraswatunde Ve Gauravani Pacharane Nirbhishesha Srinivadi Paskhatyade Siddharne. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Didati Swapadantikam Pandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavams Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saitam Na Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakans Vitams Cha Hey Krishna Karna Sindho Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanshana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishubhanu Sudha Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakapa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patidanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivastadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 24, Matsya, the Lord's Fish Incarnation, text number 53. Tvam aham deva varam varenyam prapadya isham prati bodhadanya naya chid yarta dipar bhagavan vachobir grantin hridayan vivrinu swam oka Tvam aham deva varam varanyam prapadya isham pratibodhanaya chidyartha dipar bhagavan vachobir grantin hridyan vivrinu swam aukaha Vamaham deva varam varanyam Yaisham pratibodhanaya Chidyartha dipar bhagavan vachobir Grantim hridayan vivrinu swam okaha Tvamaham deva varam varanyam prapadya isham pratibodhanaya chidyartha dipar bhagavan vachobir grantim hridayan vivrinu swam okaha. Ladies. Tvam aham deva varam varanyam prapadya isham pratibodhanaya chidyartha dipara bhagavan vachobir kritim hridayan vivrinu swam okaha. Tvamaham deva varam varanyam prapadya isham pratibodhanaya chidyartha dipara bhagavan vachobir grantim hridayan vivrinu swam okaha. Tvam, how exalted you are. Tvam, unto you. Aham, myself. Deva varam, worshipped by the demigods. Varanyam, the greatest of all. Prapadye, fully surrendering. Isham, unto the Supreme Controller. Prapadye, Pratibodhanaya, for understanding the real purpose of life. Chindi, cut off. Artadipai, by the light of purposeful instruction. Bhagavan, O Supreme Lord, Vachobi, by your words, Grantin, knots, Hridayan, fixed within the core of the heart. Renew, kindly explain. Swam Okaha, my destination in life. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O Supreme Lord, for self-realization I surrender unto you, who are worshipped by the demigods as the supreme controller of everything. By your instructions, exposing life's purpose, kindly cut the knot from the core of my heart and let me know the destination of my life. Purport. Sometimes it is argued that people do not know who is a spiritual master, and that finding a spiritual master from whom to get enlightenment in regard to the destination of life is very difficult. To answer all these questions, King Satyavrata shows us the way to accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the real spiritual master. Supreme Lord has given full directions in Bhagavad Gita about how to deal with everything in this material world and how to return home back to Godhead. Therefore, one should not be misled by so-called gurus or rascals and fools. Rather, one should see directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the guru or instructor. It is difficult, however, to understand Bhagavad Gita without the help of the guru. Therefore, the guru appears in the parampara system. In Bhagavad Gita 4:34, the Supreme Personality of Godhead recommends Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnananas tattvadarshanaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. The Lord Krishna directly instructed Arjuna. Arjuna is therefore Tattvadarshi, or Guru. Arjuna accepted the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. Similarly, following the footsteps of Shri Arjuna, who is a personal devotee of the Lord, one should accept the supremacy of Lord Krishna, as supported by Vyas, Devala, Asita, Narada, and later on by the Acharyas, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbarka, and Vishnu Swami, and still later by the greatest Acharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Where then is the difficulty in finding a guru? If one is sincere, he can find the guru and learn everything. One should take lessons from the guru and find out the real goal of life. Maharaj Satyavrata, therefore, shows us the way of the Mahajan. Mahajano yena kata sapanta. One should surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Das Avatar, and learn from him about the spiritual world and the goal of life. So the text again. O Supreme Lord, for self-realization I surrender unto you, who are worshipped by the demigods as the supreme controller of everything. By your instructions exposing life's purpose, kindly cut the knot from the core of my heart and let me know the destination of my life. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutaya Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Vicharane Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskadyade Siddharna. Here mentions that Krishna is the supreme guru. Now, what is our relationship with the supreme guru? Well, Krishna says, Savasya chaham ridi sanavishto matak smritira jnanam aponam cha. That he's in everyone's heart. He's not only in my heart or your heart, He's in everyone's heart. And whatever we can remember, and whatever we can't remember, and whatever our conception of life is, this is being supplied to us by Krishna. Now, most people don't ask Krishna whether they're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. And so Krishna doesn't tell them. Usually they ask, well, if they ask a representative of Krishna, then the representative of Krishna will ask Krishna. So that's the same thing as asking Krishna directly, is if you ask an actual representative of Krishna who is actually asking Krishna. Now we can also ask Krishna. It's not that Krishna, he says, sorry, I'm sorry, you don't have a sacred thread, you're not initiating guru. I don't talk to people like that. I only talk to people who have a sacred thread and who are sitting on a big seat. I talk to them. Otherwise, you got to get your own big seat. And then maybe I'll start talking to you. No, Krishna talks to anyone who wants to talk to him. But there's a qualification to hear the answer. We can ask Krishna, and the reason why we don't get an immediate answer is because we're not qualified sometimes to get the answer. Therefore Krishna says, Tesham sadatam yuktanam bhajantam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, then I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. So Krishna is not there to tell us how to rob a bank or how to make $1 million in the stock market. Krishna is not sitting in our heart as if he's our servant, just driving us around like he's the chauffeur and we're the king of the mountain, the emperor. No, Krishna is sitting there waiting for us to ask him some question in relationship to him. Otherwise, he does give us intelligence, but that intelligence is not the same as spiritual intelligence. He does supply remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness, but in such a way as to help us forget him. Prabhupada said one time that if you want to remember Krishna, Krishna will give you so much intelligence to help you remember him. And if you want to forget him, Krishna will give you so much intelligence you'll never remember him. He'll give you so many arguments why Krishna is not there. Krishna will give you intelligence to figure out or to decide that he's not there. So that's quite a trick. Imagine going up to your friend and arguing with him that you don't exist. Explaining exactly why you don't exist. And then your friend says, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Now I can understand that you don't exist. But it was your friend who gave you the intelligence to figure out that the person doesn't exist. So how is it possible that someone who doesn't exist can give you intelligence? Similarly, if Krishna didn't exist, then why is it sometimes we try to remember something, we can't remember it? And sometimes we can't forget something that we want to forget. And sometimes we're trying to understand something, we can't understand it, and then later on, suddenly we understand it. What did we do? Was there a little machine in our head, we put in our necessary, €3, and then the understanding came? Is that how things work? Or is there some other reason why sometimes we remember, sometimes we forget, and sometimes we understand things, suddenly we understand, and sometimes we're completely confused, even over the simplest thing. Just pick up one of these books, even with the verse we read today. Just read it one time and see what you can understand. And then Krishna says, then if we're honest, we ask ourselves, did I actually understand what was said? And Maya will say, well, forget about it, it's not very important, you don't really have to understand that. Tomorrow you can read the verse. Tomorrow you read another verse. And Krishna will say, well, what, if you don't understand it, why don't you just go back and read it again? And then we have to ask ourselves, did I understand it this time? What have I understood? Just like the verse I read today. Who can say what the verse was about? At least what it was about, even vaguely. Yes, that's something about what's it about. Something about the Guru and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Prabhupada said in his purport. He is the Guru. He is the original Guru. And everyone else is just trying to represent him. And Satyavrata is praying to the original Guru to give him the intelligence. So let me read it again. O Supreme Lord, for self-realization I surrender unto you. What does surrender mean? Can anyone tell me what does it mean to surrender? I surrender, don't hit me, please. I'm innocent. Give up everything, okay. Let go of what? Is that right? So I think there's a door there, but I'm just going to let go of it. Whack! Oh! I guess maybe there is a door there. What does it actually mean to surrender? Slushpa, yes, of Krishna. Yeah, Krishna says, offer me with leaf, a flower, some water, patram, pushpam, palam toyam, yome bhakti, and try to do it with devotion, with love, care and attention. Not that we, oh Krishna, please accept this leaf. That's not exactly what it means. It means we should do it with care and attention. Here's a leaf. Let me wash the leaf before I offer it to Krishna. Not that you look at it, oh, it looks pretty clean anyhow. Offer it to Krishna, he's not going to complain. No, wash the leaf, put it on a nice plate, tulsi leaf especially. Then try to say the mantras. We're down here, you're up there. Let's eat, Krishna. Try to say the mantras carefully so actually we hear them and they actually make some sense to us. That's called surrender. Follow Krishna's instructions. As Krishna himself, in the form of Lord Nityananda, went door to door and he said, Bolo Krishna, Bhaja Krishna, Koro Krishna Shika. Just chant Krishna's name. So that's Krishna's instruction. So if we chant Hare Krishna, then we're surrendered to Krishna to the extent that we're able to offenselessly chant Hare Krishna. To that extent, we're surrendered. Bhaja Krishna. And to the extent that we're doing our service to please Krishna, that's also surrender. And Koro Krishna Shika. And follow his instructions. That is surrender. Not that we have to make a big show, you know. We bow down before Prabhupada. You know, is anyone taking a photo? Posting it. As soon as I bow down, the lights go off and everyone, Jai, Jai. Fantastic, this is wonderful. Post it. 50 likes, all right away. No, surrender is we're doing it just to please Krishna. That's all. Who are worshipped by the demigods is the supreme controller of everything. So Krishna is controlling everything. So what does that mean? He's controlling everything that's going on. There's nothing he's not controlling. So now we blame everything on Krishna. You did it. You're responsible. I'm innocent. I'm just a victim. I was trying so hard. But you wouldn't let me do it, so you're a victim. I'm a victim. You're the controller. You take responsibility. If there's any problem, look, it's his problem. He did it. He's the one who's controlling everything. No, Krishna is trying to control us, but we're uncontrolled. That's the problem. We follow our uncontrolled mind, and therefore Krishna gives us the results. According to what we did in the past, different desires are flowing through our mind, and we're catching hold of them. We're identifying with them, either allowing ourselves to dwell on them and to feel about them, and then we desire to carry them out. We want to do them. Krishna is saying, no, wait a second, Bhagavad Gita, come on, I haven't read that in 3 years. Don't give me Bhagavad Gita. Boring philosophy. Every time I picked out the book, I fell asleep. Even after I woke up one day, I tried to read the Bhagavad Gita. 3 hours, I went back to sleep. It's a dangerous book. And now you're telling me I got to read the Bhagavad Gita? It makes more sense when I read it upside down. I turn it around and read it. Hey, that makes some sense. Therefore, what is our hope? Oh, that's our. Yeah, that's it. No, that one. No, this one. And therefore, Krishna has to fulfill so many things that we want to do. Krishna says, don't do it. Beep, beep, don't do it. You're going to get into, oh, forget it, Krishna. Don't bother me. You're spoiling the fun. I'm just going to do it once. And that's it. I'll be aloof. Well, maybe twice. Anyhow, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. What can you do? Next year, I'll surrender. So Krishna is the controller, even the demigods. If they do the wrong thing, they get into trouble. What to speak of our little selves? By your instructions exposing life's purpose, kindly cut the knot from the core of my heart. Let me know the destination of my life. So in our heart, we're covered by all these desires, all these feelings, all these manifest themselves in this cloud of feelings and conceptions that we're living in. And it's all within the core of our heart. They're just being manifested in different ways. So here King Sabdaraj is please cut this knot. With, as Krishna says, what is that? Tasmanagana sambhutam ritstam jnana trinatmanaha shivayanam samsayam yogam atishta bharata. These doubts which have arisen in your heart should be slashed with the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight. So it's not like Krishna is going to take a knife. Oh my God, this little guy. Oh, that hurts. Oh my God. Could you stop, leave a little of the knot, There's a nice bow at the end. I don't want to get rid of it. No, Krishna wants to slash the knot with a weapon of knowledge. The knot is Hridaya Granti Mahu. This knot of our attachment to trying to enjoy the material world. It's like you run up to a tree, as I said many times. You grab hold of the tree and you say, let me go, let me go. And someone comes along and says, my dear sir, no, the tree is not holding on to you. It has no arms. How can it hold on to you? You're holding on to the tree. That's why you're stuck on it. Oh, come on. Let me go, tree. Can you help me get off this tree? Just let go of the tree and you're all right. You and your philosophy. Go away. Help me. Help me. The tree got me. So similarly, we have this knot within our heart. And it doesn't, it may be a big knot, and it just manifests itself a little at a time. Whatever the latest anxiety that we're in, that's the manifestation of that knot. And we think, well, I'm justified. This anxiety, this fear, this anger, this whatever it is, this is me. It's inherent me. If I let it go, I'm going to change. I'm just going to change my personality. I can't let it go. I deserve to have this anxiety. I work for it for millions of lifetimes. I won't let it go. Don't touch it, Krishna. Wait, get away. Get away from that sword. I don't want it cut. I want it to be decorated. I want it to be manifested. I want it to be realized. I want it to be recognized. I want everyone to cry, oh, poor victim, poor victim. I want people to recognize that I'm a victim and that there's so many culprits out there. Go get them. They're the ones who victimized me. Go get them. Sick them. And it's all coming, it's my realization in the heart. I hate you. I despise you. And I feel good about it. I feel justified. I feel empowered by doing that. And then we guard our knot very carefully, and Krishna comes with the holy name. We say, oh, get it away. Don't touch it. So one has to be willing to recognize that this is not good. That's all. That this is something I'm supposed to try to get rid of. And then somehow or another, we pray to Krishna, save me, we chant the holy name, and it goes away, and we think, I'm liberated. Everyone, let it be known, I'm liberated. Now I'm the savior of the universe, because I know the technique. I got rid of one little strand of this huge knot in my heart, and I know everything. Until the next manifestation of this knot comes into being. How did that come in there? Where did that come from? I'm a victim again. Help me. I'm a victim. God doesn't love me. He liberated me. Now he put me back in Maya again. How is this possible? I'm serving him so faithfully, and now he's put me back in Maya. What an ungrateful God. No, we have to pray to Krishna that gradually he cuts the knot, that gradually we surrender. We get the knowledge, we get the recognition to discriminate between what's desire in Krishna consciousness and what's the desire in the illusory energy. And it's not always so easy to discriminate. Therefore, we have to take shelter of someone like Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada and his representatives and pray to them, please give me the right understanding. Please free me from this misconception. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? And then if we get the intelligence, then we should do it. And of course, Maya will come up with something else. And because Maya is there to help us surrender, to help us inquire, what does Prabhupada, what does Krishna want us to do? What does it say in the scriptures? Because we get lazy. Immediately we get a little realization and we think ourselves to be great enlightened beings. We don't need Krishna's help anymore. We don't need Prabhupada's help. We don't need anyone's help because I'm enlightened. I'm going to help everyone else. So therefore Maya comes and again puts us into difficulty. So eventually we develop the humility, the realization we just depend upon Krishna and his representative. So that's not bad. Otherwise, if Maya just said, oh, just all right, you're self-realized, I will leave you alone. I'm not going to bother you with you anymore. Just go on happily eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Don't worry about it because you're self-realized. Then we never make any progress. So therefore difficulty has to be there so that we can take shelter of Krishna. And if difficulty is there and we take shelter of Krishna, that's the greatest benediction we can get. And if difficulty is there and we take shelter of something else, then we're just, without taking shelter of Krishna, we'll just be wasting our time. Because the difficulty will come again and again and again until finally we take shelter of Krishna. Finally we understand what the difficulty is meant for. And then gradually the difficulties will go away. Not that externally the difficulties will ever go away, because this is the world of birth and death. But internally, we'll have no difficulty taking shelter of Krishna. And therefore, if we have no difficulty of taking shelter of Krishna, we have no real difficulty. So I'll stop there. Thank you. Any questions, comments? Yes. Do we have a microphone?
Hare Krishna, thank you for your lecture. I wanted to just ask if you can share with us some stories with Prabhupada.
Well, this is one of Prabhupada's stories. He's right there.
Your personal stories, I thought.
Oh, it's pretty personal right now. Yeah, we like to hear pastimes, but actually, generally speaking, what we do is we ask questions pertaining to the class. Otherwise, we like to hear about Prabhupada, and as a matter of fact, we should always remember Prabhupada. But we should remember of course we can hear about others telling about Prabhupada. But generally speaking, when Prabhupada was asked, for instance, Trivikram Maharaj once asked Srila Prabhupada, can you tell me something about your Guru Maharaj? This is in London, probably 70-something, 73, 74. So Prabhupada said he was a Vaikuntha man. I sat one lecture with Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada's disappearance day in 1969 in Boston in December. And Prabhupada spent the whole lecture talking about his Guru Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. I don't know, for some reason I never saw the recording of it, but that was the only time I ever heard Prabhupada ever talk extensively about his Guru Maharaj. So Prabhupada didn't seem that talking about his pastimes with his Guru Maharaj was as significant as explaining what his Guru Maharaj had come as his whole pastime in order to give us Krishna consciousness. And besides that, if I to try to convey, what I understood about my experience with Prabhupada would be rather difficult, because it would just, unless I could manifest, because Prabhupada was not an ordinary personality, and therefore, whatever spiritual experience I had when I was with him would be hard to convey. And it would be I'll just say one thing. One time I was in the garden with Prabhupada, and this was probably 1972 or something like that. Was it probably 72. In the garden of Los Angeles with Srila Prabhupada. And there was another devotee there who was the GBC at that time of that area, Karandapuru. And I was the temple president, so whenever I visited LA, I got a chance, when Prabhupada was there, to sit in his garden, and Prabhupada would be talking to us. And the first thing, I came from Dallas, Texas, where I was the temple president. The first thing Prabhupada asked me was, how's the farm going? I guess someone had written to him that we had a farm, which we didn't have. We didn't have the internet back there. It was all conveyed by letter, or however. So I was like, farm? We don't have a farm, Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada looked at me, and he said, are you convinced about Krishna consciousness? Out of nowhere, he said, yes, Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada, he kept on talking. He talked to us about different things. He talked to us about India. He was telling me about how bad the management in India is. He made this horrible face. If you went to India at that time, you'd understand what Prabhupada had to go through when he was in India, trying to manage things. Then there was some conversation about Prabhupada looked in the tree and he said, "Do you see?" He asked me if I see the bird, if I saw the bird in the tree. And I don't think there was any bird, nor did I have my glasses on. I couldn't see any bird, but I said, "Well, Prabhupada said, thinks there's a bird." I said, "Oh, sure, I see the bird." And Prabhupada said that, "See that little bird?" He said he has his house, he has his wife, he has his food, he has his children, and he's not worried about anything. So why are you worried about anything? And then Prabhupada stopped again. He said, "So, are you convinced about Krishna consciousness?" I said, "Yes, Prabhupada." Then Prabhupada went on talking about this little, Karunda said, this little boy was coming to LA, whose name was Guru Maharaji, and one of his representatives came and asked us to go out to the airport to greet God. So Prabhupada said, "You should go out there and kick him in the face with boots on." And then Prabhupada looked at me again, he said, "So, are you convinced about Krishna consciousness?" I said, "Yes, Prabhupada." So that was one of the conversations I remember. Anything else? Yeah.
First, I want to thank you for your lecture. About worrying, I had a little over-worried last days about the things that I have no control over, that I must let in hands of Krishna. And I am chanting, and I try to let go of those things because they're not in my concern. It is in Krishna's will what will happen with those things. And I keep walking in my head how to change the head, but I don't have that.
Well, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I know.
As I said, but anyhow, if you want to worry about it, then worry about it. Really get into it. Just observe it carefully and analyze it. Read Bhagavad Gita, see what it actually means, if it makes any sense.
Yes.
In other words, we're not just trying to remain aloof. Krishna said, when Arjuna asked Krishna, what is the chanchalam himana Krishna pramati balavadridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayor sadisgram. For the mind is restless, turbulent, and very strong, O Krishna, and to subdue it, it seems to be more difficult to control the wind. So then Krishna says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, asam shayama mahabaho, manom dunurgraham shalam, abhyasena tukontiya vairagena trigriyate. Krishna doesn't say, well, you're in Maya, Arjuna, just get out of Maya. No, he says, asam shayama mahabaho. It is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, Arjuna, but it's possible by suitable practice and by detachment. So instead of worrying about where my mind is taking me, we should try to do something in Krishna's service. And then when we get a little control, then we should try to think about Krishna if we can. Do something positive rather than worry about where my mind, and then gradually some detachment will come.
Yes, thank you. May I try to ask another question?
Yes.
Expect not that one that I just asked, but another one. Why? How do I put that together? Yeah. Sorry. So Maya, when Krishna wants us to come closer to him, when we are lost, kind of lost when our soul is lost, I say, in an ocean of ignorance, but he realized the power of Krishna, and he feels this desire to be with Krishna in contact, to chant, to do everything. But Maya is still so around him, like that he's in wrong place, basically. And when the soul finally finds a way out of there, and it's so difficult to ask this kind of question.
Anyhow, let's just take shelter of Krishna, and then
Yes.
Maya is helping us. Maya is helping us.
Yeah. Okay. I can't ask it.
Maya
That's
is called
fine.
mercy also. Because without Maya putting us into difficulty, we never take shelter of Krishna.
Yeah. About that. Yeah. So Krishna makes Maya to put us
He doesn't make Maya.
Through. So Maya makes us.
We're qualified to be
Yeah.
put into Maya.
Okay. So we're getting through worse and worse and worse and worse over and over again because
No, it shouldn't
Krishna wants us to finally get out of Maya, or
if we don't surrender,
wants
even if we surrender a little bit, then Maya backs off a little bit.
yeah.
And if we don't surrender, then Maya will come back again and again to inspire us to finally surrender.
Yeah, yes, because in past this life, I had like experience that it was just worse and worse and worse and worse. But
That's Maya. Yes, if we don't surrender to Krishna, it would get worse. Because from the mode of passion.
I was thinking about him. I don't know. I was in a very weird place.
Well, in our present confused state, we shouldn't take our minds so seriously.
Yeah, not at all.
Maya will not say, "Oh, my dear soul, you're such a nice devotee. You should chant more. You should read more. You should surrender more." Maya will say, "You're a rascal. You don't deserve to be Krishna conscious. You deserve to be punished. Give up Krishna consciousness and take your dessert, what you really deserve.
I can relate to that.
Be honest with yourself. You're a rascal, and you'll always be a rascal. There's no bigger rascal than you.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, you're such a big rascal that no one should even compete being such a rascal as you."
I can relate. Yeah, but okay, thank you.
Yeah. Here.
Haribol, thank you for the lecture. I wanted to ask, when Krishna slowly, when we pray to him to untie the knots in our heart, and when he slowly begins to do that, and I'm sometimes scared, that it will become tied back up again. And what are some principles to not be scared that we'll fall back into Maya and to
fall back into
trust,
Maya? We shouldn't be scared of falling back into Maya. We're always in Maya. How can you fall back into something you're already in?
Yeah, fall more back.
We're like in the beginning of Krishna consciousness. It's called utsahamayi. When we're doing bhajana kriya, the first thing is we become puffed up. We think we're a great soul. We're liberated. We're the saviors of everyone. We're more advanced. And then Gana Tarala. Then suddenly we realize we're going up and down in our consciousness like a roller coaster. And we think, my God, how did this happen? How did such a great personality as me wind up in a roller coaster? There must be something wrong. I got on the wrong train or something. Well, this is just natural. It's part of the process. Because part of the process is become humble. So if everything went right all the time, we'd never become humble. We think we're the controller, we're in control of everything. So therefore, we start realizing that we're actually not in control. So then, therefore, we get some impetus sometimes to take shelter of Krishna. We become humbler. And then there are other stages also in bhajana kriya that we have to go through. So we should learn what they are, so we shouldn't become bewildered by them. Because we may have to live with them for some time. Even we get over this Gana Utsahamayi, we become actually a little humble. Then we get into Gana Tarala, we're going up and down like a roller coaster, which is making us more humble. Then Vishaya Sangara. Then we start realizing I'm attached to sense gratification. I just don't want to give it up. and therefore we suffer. Mental speculation, etc., etc. And therefore we realize I have to take shelter of Krishna. Otherwise I can't control my desires, which I thought weren't there, but suddenly they appeared. But they were always there. It's just that we were so much bewildered by our false ego that we didn't even realize we were under the spell of material desire. That we were so much bewildered by our false ego, we didn't, we were thinking I'm only going up and down like a roller coaster. But I didn't realize it was because of all my material desires I have, which I wasn't even aware of because I was too busy, bewildered by the up and down ride to even notice those desires. So there's a process we can read about in the Madhurya Kandambini or in Prabhupada's book, so we can understand this is just what I'm going through, so I should tolerate it. Try to take shelter, learn the lessons that Krishna is trying to teach me, so I can become Krishna conscious. It's all meant, all the varieties of Maya that are being thrown at us are all meant for our progressive advancement.
Thank you, that's very reassuring.
What's that?
It's very reassuring.
Yeah, Krishna
What you
is,
said.
he's arranged the whole thing, and he's a nice person, so there must be something good about it. Anything else? Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande.